A few days ago I posted footage of a playthrough of the first chapter of the Half-Life 2 Survivor single-player campaign. I posted it without any commentary cause I wanted to see your unaltered opinion of this rather unusual Half-Life experience. The reactions were pretty much what I expected and can be summed up with, "What the fuck is this?" Well, it is Half-Life 2 Survivor, an arcade adaptation of Half-Life 2 only released in Japan. And just in case this question might come up, yes, it is an official product licensed by Valve and produced by the Taito Corporation, a company owned by Square Enix. Well, there you go for some interesting trivia. Square Enix has published a Half-Life game. Sort of. Half-Life 2 Survivor was introduced to Japanese arcades in 2006. It is a stripped-down and simplified Half-Life game meant to be played on a machine like this. Or this. The latter one being a less sophisticated version of the former. Both use a 32-inch HD screen and come with a 5.1 sound system. The of course most unusual thing for a Half-Life 2 PC player are the controls. The game is played using 2 joysticks and pedals. The whole system runs on a slightly modified version of Windows XP, similar to the ones you will find on ATMs. But more about the technical details later. If you have seen the first gameplay video, you will have noticed that the game treats you like a total noob with all the tutorials. I assume in a country where first-person shooters like Half-Life are not so popular compared to Europe or Northern America, and adding to that, playing a first-person shooter with a setup like this, putting some help in it might be excusable. But I have to agree with the majority of the commentators that the game absolutely obliterates the immersion with cutscenes and constant tutorials, though you encounter fewer tutorials in the later levels. Another factor in destroying the immersion, the developers almost completely removed the story. If my first contact with Half-Life would have been this arcade game, I would have been left completely bewildered and wondering who are these people appearing in cutscenes and why do they all of a sudden fight alongside me? Gameplay-wise, the game has been boiled down to the fight and driving passages. All physics-based puzzles have been cut and the chapters have been shortened down to 6 to 15-minute pieces. Do you remember this part of the chapter Water Hazard in Half-Life 2? It involves you raising a ramp to jump over it. In the arcade version, this has of course been replaced by a simple pathway uphill. Another difference you might have just noticed, this version of the airboat has a weapon, making this chapter actually pretty fun. Although due to performance issues, the airboat's speed is limited. The rest of the campaign takes you through shortened chapters of the original Half-Life 2, including a very boring version of Ravenholm. Like I mentioned previously, no physics-based puzzles. That's the one thing that made Ravenholm so fun. Apart from the single player, the game offers you 2 more game modes, a co-op/single player challenge mode and a multiplayer. In both co-op and multiplayer, the game lets you choose from a variety of classes which seem to have been inspired by Team Fortress. But unlike Team Fortress, you can choose male or female characters. The game not only utilizes Half-Life 2 beta player models, such as the Elite Metro Cop, it also borrows weapons from the Half-Life 2 beta, like the sniper rifle. The multiplayer is of course dead since there is no proper network available. The included bots are either incredibly stupid or way too overpowered. The multiplayer's goal is to collect points for your team by gathering dog tags from killed enemies. I've read on the Facepunch forum that you are theoretically able to launch a Hamachi server to play this online, however I have not tested that. But I have tested an alternative. The multiplayer part has been ported and recreated as a mod for the regular Steam version of Half-Life 2. In case you want to take a look at it, the link will be in the description down below. So onwards to the co-op/single player challenges. Here you will find 3 different game modes. The first one involves you fighting off antlions and gathering items dropped by them. Quite simple and easy cause the AI is of course exploitable. The level design is practical at best. The second challenge involves you destroying zombie spawn points called zombie houses. A simple and not too challenging mission. Depending on the difficulty, it can be over in a minute or something. The third and last mission involves you simply escaping a combined facility. You have to open some barriers and fight a strider, and then escape. Again, very simple stuff. I imagine all of these game modes are more fun when you play them with others. And now back to the technical topic and how you can play this game yourself. And if you don't want to, I'm going to upload the whole single player campaign on this channel. First things first, you need to own Half-Life 2 to play this game, but I assume you own it. At first, you should download GCFScape, link in the description. Other things you need to download are the updated binaries, the game itself, and the source SDK base, which you can find in your Steam tools. Once everything has been downloaded, proceed to unpack the game. Next, you need to go into a Steam folder under the following directions. Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Source SDK Base, VPKS. From there you need to unpack the highlighted folders: Depot 206, Depot 207 and Depot 208. Unpack them using GCFScape. The unpacked files have to be copied into Half-Life 2 Survivor's HL folder. Be sure not to overwrite anything. Next, you need to unpack the updated binaries and copy them into the game's main folder. This time, overwrite everything. Theoretically, the game should be able to run now by clicking the Run Me batch file. Since this doesn't work all the time because the batch file is not very reliable, I suggest you use one of the launchers some members of the community have created. There are several versions out there, so you need to check for a version that works for you. Link is of course in the description down below. When launching the game, it will look somewhat like this. The game will not launch in full screen mode. Press F3 twice to skip the demo and then press F2 once this screen appears. You can navigate the menus using the arrow keys and F2 and Enter to accept. The in-game controls are identical to the PC. A few more technical details now, because this question will come up. The game is locked to a fixed resolution, 1366 by 768. This is the original arcade machine screen resolution and cannot be changed. The game also runs best in window mode, but there are some batch files out there with which you can let the game run in full screen mode, but I suggest you stick to the original, because the game tends to crash quite often. And something has to be said in the end. Even though this is a tutorial on how you can install and play Half-Life 2 Survivor on a regular PC, I cannot guarantee that it will work. The game was never meant to be running on anything but an arcade machine utilizing a modified Windows XP version. So expect the game not to be optimized, let alone run properly or to launch at all. I tried to get it to run for about half a year. It can be tricky. Anyways, we have to thank a few very dedicated fans for enabling us to be playing this game in the first place. They managed to get a hold of an arcade machine hard drive and bring it into a playable state. Great work, guys, thank you very much. If you want the real experience, you need to travel to Japan and find it there. Or from what I've seen on the internet, a collector from the UK has imported one of these things, and legend has it Valve has one of these machines standing around in their office. And here's a little request from me. This channel has a handful of subscribers from Japan, or just a bunch of anime fans with VPNs. Who knows? Anyways, if you happen to be in Japan and there is an arcade, please check it if they have one of these machines standing around. If they do, be so nice and take a few pictures, will you? And I would be tremendously grateful if we might get some footage of you playing it. If you got something, we can be reached here on YouTube, or probably it would be easier via Twitter. The link to our Twitter is of course in the description down below. Of course we would reward you for your efforts, maybe with one of those prototype escalation t-shirts. Well, we'll work something out. That's it for today. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you don't want to go through the troubles of installing the game yourself, I will upload a chapter of the single player every Sunday till we are through with it. Just some additional content to our regular programming. So see you guys next time. Till then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.